In this video, we're gonna be covering how to edit like Sutox-Originals. Now, by the looks of it, you guys can already see that I replicated the style almost one for one, and I go over everything that you guys need to cover the style exactly, all the way from receiving the assets to replicating the animations one for one. Now, if you guys don't know who this UI King Sutox-Originals is, he's posted around 6 to 8 videos on Instagram and TikTok where every single video literally gets a hit. Like 500k views, 600k views. So most likely you might have seen it on your page. So that is why I think if you guys are able to replicate this style and you end up posting it, it's gonna freaking bang. So yeah, that was the summary of it all. And by the way, this is an exclusive video from my editing community, Editors League, where I cover everything all the way from going from beginner to an expert. And if you're already advanced, you become even more of an expert. I give away all the project file of my previous projects, especially the ones on my YouTube channel, how to edit like all of these masters that you see, Iman Gadzi, Vox, Houston Gold. And most importantly, I just brought on 2 new modules for personal branding. One which is the personal branding module itself, and client mastery, where I literally help you guarantee getting a client within 2 weeks, no matter your skill level. So if you guys are watching this and the price is still $37, then I suggest you join, because on February 14th, I'm giving out the first warning that the price goes to $47, and then on February 30, the price goes to $57. So you do not want to miss it. If you join from now for the cheaper price, it will stay cheap for you forever. For everyone that joins after the first warning or the second warning, they're gonna have to pay extra. So yeah, if you guys want to join, click on the first link on the description. And if you guys want all of the assets that you need in order to cover this editing, then make sure you click on the second link where I give away all of it for free, and so you can follow the progress. With that, let's dive in right into the video. Create a new composition and make it 1080 by 1920, and make the frame rate 24, and just extend this out to be like 5 seconds. Doesn't matter that much. Okay, so the first part, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna import this. Now you guys don't need to import this, obviously. If you don't want to, then you can, but what I want to do is initially I want to cut this beginning, so we're gonna be starting from this part exactly. All right, and we are going to end over at this part for this, specifically for this video, just until over here. Let's cut this and make our composition this much. First thing we need is this whole UI. Okay, this is called UI, user interface. And how can we find this user interface? Don't worry, very easy. First things first, open up Google. You want to go over here, and what you want to search up for is going to be iMessage UI Figma. There we go. So you can see we need the newest version. Now I can see iOS 17 over here. I guess this should do the job just fine as of now. And find the iOS iMessage. So why am I doing this, boys? I'm doing this because now we don't need to create anything from scratch. We can pretty much just fucking copy paste. All right, so if you have a look at this, some things that we need over here is, for example, you'll see this text message, the fonts, whatever is on top, and etc. I mean, it's not that hard to recreate, but we need exact measurements just so we can give it the best of the best look. Now you can see over here immediately we have this is delivered quietly and whatever. So what I need is I just need the shape layer or the frame. So you can see we have this frame and we have this shape. What I can do initially is I can now open up Illustrator. So you guys will need Illustrator for this. You cannot do this without Illustrator. So let me open up Illustrator and I'll just press open. Okay, and from here I'll guide you guys on what to do next. So let's make a new file, and it doesn't matter honestly, whatever resolution it is, the bigger the better. So I created this, and now you want to get over here, select this. So now you guys can see I just came over here and I went to this text bubble, and while I'm in this text bubble, okay, now you guys might already have these assets, but it's very important to not skip this. Okay, now I have this. I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna do copy as SVJ, and this is very useful because I can just paste it over here, and you can see once I paste it I can adjust it however the fuck I like. I can extend it, I can do anything with it. And the best part about this all is I can literally select this now. Okay, there is something called libraries which you need. I'll make a new library, right click. By the way, if you cannot find libraries, you gotta go to window and you want to find libraries over here. Okay, select this and then just go to add to library, and boom, here we have it in iMessage components. Okay, now the best thing about libraries is if I open After Effects now and I go into libraries. Okay, again, if you don't know where to find libraries, go into Windows and libraries will be over here. I'll go into iComponents message 1. Over here I found this iMessage thing that we needed. Alright, so I found the first one. Now let's find the one where the other person sends. So boom, here it is. Okay, you can see this is the other person sending. Or let's take something that's a bit smaller, for example this one. So I just double click, frame, here you have it. And if you want to export, you can even export it, right? But I don't want to export it because I want to initially have the ability to be able to copy it as SVJ and then alter it however I want to. So now I pasted the actual one and I just don't need the text message. So I will add this to our library as well. And initially these both are in After Effects. And you can see we have this little iMessage thingy. And by the way, I just noticed that this is not mobile resolution. I'm a bit... Okay, the whole time I thought, because I downloaded it in mobile resolution, so I was like, okay, it's gonna be mobile resolution. But it's actually not mobile resolution, so I'm just gonna reset this to saved layout. It's gonna be the normal resolution. So let me take it back to 1920 1080p. Alright, and apologies for that, boys. Just gonna zoom this in so we can preview this. Alright, now let's get started with our stuff before we chit chat too much. So bring up over here, make a solid that's gonna be a white color. Okay, and initially the first thing you want to do is you want to actually make the solid a bit grayer. So I'm just gonna add fill, alright, just so we can change up the color. I'll take this a bit below, alright, a little bit below, so it's not exactly white. Boom, this is how it's gonna be. Now you want to go to text, okay, and this is the font that you want, which is going to be San Francisco Pro. So it's called SF, and it can be SF Pro Medium, alright, because this is the exact like iPhone font. All SF Pro is iPhone's font. So I can write iMessage and it will look very, very similar. And how iPhone does it is they write I and then capital M. So it looks like this almost. And what I want to do is I want to make this gray. For the exact colors, as I already mentioned to you guys, just write up Apple Gray color hex and you can see. So if I paste this, see if it's clearer. This is much more clearer. So let's just center this and scale it down, take it above, scale it down even lesser, and we want to make this light. Okay, you want to make this light so it looks organic, or it might be regular. It could be regular. So we have this iMessage, and what I want to do is duplicate this and make this say today at whatever time it is right now, 9:30. And just for the sake of making this I can just do 1930. All right, that looks better. And then I want to select both of this, or not select both of this, just take this a bit more down so we have more gap, and this looks better. And we can take this a bit below, and boom, there we have it, iMessage today at 1930. And now the first part of it all is going to be this. So let me import this. You guys can see I imported this, and the thing about importing this, right, is now I can select over here to create shapes from vector, and now it's pretty much going to be like a layer that is a shape layer. This is what I love about importing in Illustrator, and I can adjust this. You see, if I press on my pen tool, I can adjust this however the fuck I want to, which is why I love this whole way of importing. So I have Google Translate open real quick. I'll just write "we gets there," which says "how are you?" So I'm just pretty much going to write the same shit. Let me take this text, okay, make this all the way black, take it above and make it say "how are you?" Make sure both of these are aligned. Make this bigger. Now we just want to make this a little bigger in this way. How are you? Cool, looks good. I want to parent this so I can scale this down and pretty much move it over here. And see, now I will select my G to just do pen tool and make this much smaller, and boom, here we have like a "how are you" text. And I think this font is going to be thin, and the way we can check this is I just come up over here and I double tap on do it awesome and check what font it is. It's SF Pro regular, you can see over here. That means we are on the correct font. You can go light if you want. Let's go light actually. And what I want to make sure is I want to make sure both of these are on the exact same line, or are aligned. I mean, this looks cool. And yeah, I think this should be regular. Sorry boys. That's how you experiment, right? Is you experiment, you test around, and you see what you like best. So have this as how are you text. And now we want to bring out the other sending message. Now one thing though is to ensure the exact same sizes. What I can do is I'm thinking of duplicating this and literally flipping it. And you will see like if we flip it, it's gonna be the exact same size. And initially why I'm doing this is because I wanna make sure the scale and everything is exact. So I don't really need to import this sending message and repeat the whole process when I can just pretty much duplicate this. And so I duplicated it right now and I flipped the sides. And what I can do is I can just change its color. So if I go to stroke, I can select this exact same color that is for the sending message, which is 0078FF. You can see over here, even if I check the color, it's 0078FF. That means it's exact same thing. And I will just duplicate this, put it on top of the sending message. You guys can see like this whole thing is just design. It's mostly the time takes in design. And I will make this white. And you want to make sure this is aligned in the middle, whatever. And over here we are gonna make it say "Awi souls mirghin." So let's just make it how do you think I feel. Boom, here we have it. I'm just gonna have it in the end. And now I can select this, go to G and extend this out. Perfect. I love it. And because I feel like this is too long, maybe we should have it as how should I feel? Something like this. So I can make this back to smaller. What I'm doing is a little changes just to make sure the gap between this and this is same. And yeah, this looks cool to me. Nice. Now I'll select this, make sure it's aligned. I will pretty much unparent it and boom. And what I want to do now is I want to make everything in the middle. Okay, so I will select this. We have the sending message and we have the receiving message, boys. So these two messages we have the iMessage and everything. So I'll select these two messages. All right. Now I'll connect them to a null layer and then I'll pick it in the middle. So it feels like it's in the middle, but it's still not in the middle, you can see. And one thing, if you guys notice, is this one is basically they're having some sort of an overlap. So let's do this, right? If I just take this and I do an overlap, and this looks cool. And I can select both of these again. Now I have them in the middle. And I can scale this up because it feels a bit small to me. And yeah, this looks cool. And the way we can check if these are aligned now, because we cannot do it manually, we can just go over here and do proportional grid. And initially you will see is these two messages, the gap between this line and this line should be the same as this line and this line. We cannot tell exact, but we can have good measurements. So yeah, this looks cool. And let me just get rid of the grid now. This looks pretty centered to me. So the first 12 frames, we just want to do a little animation for these. All right, go to position and go to opacity and just take it down. Add opacity keyframe, take it down from here, go to F9 and do this graph. So you can see how this is gonna pop up from down, just like this. Maybe we can make this a bit lesser, and then I'm gonna make the iMessage come like 10 frames or 5 frames later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the second message, sorry. So it's gonna be just sequenced. Yeah, we can make this shorter if needed, or no. Okay, yeah, this looks cool to me, boys. This looks pretty cool to me. Now this comes up and we want to start animating this. What I'm gonna do is this message, I'll do a position. By the way, make sure this is parented, all right, just so when I move this, everything moves with it. And I'll make it come down from this much. And the graph that I will use is F9, this graph. Okay, and I can make this come up from more down. And what I want to do is I want to turn on motion blur on both of these, so you can see the way that it pops up. And you want to do a text message, so just want to go over here. You want to search up typewriter in your effects and presets panel, typewriter, and boom, import that. And we're gonna make it end around this point. So you see how this comes up. How are you? Now we do need one more part, which I don't know if we'll find here, but it's basically writing or typing iMessage. So here we have something that is pretty solid. So I can save this as image, all right, and import it into After Effects. And pretty much what I want to do over here is I'm gonna put this in focus mode. I want to mask this out, so we just have this part. We don't have anything else that is unnecessary, okay? And I want to just do linear color key and remove the white, which is gonna be a bit difficult, as you guys just saw, because it does remove the grays as well. But if I decrease the matching softness and then I add a simple choker, we have it just fine. Or you guys can just recreate this if you want to. I'm just showing you guys different ways to integrate stuff like this to your workflow. So we have this, something that's pretty solid. And now all I need to do is flip this. So do a -100, okay? Place it over here. We wanna set the anchor point in the corner, and you wanna make this a bit smaller because it's too big. And so it's gonna be this much of size. And here is where we're gonna pop it up. So I'm just gonna add a marker. I'm gonna make it 10 frames. So scale, and let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come up over here. So I want to start it from 0. It's gonna pop up, okay, and I will make it go +10 here, and then I'll make it go down. So you see the way it will pop up will be like this, okay, and you want to select all of this and just do the middle graph, which I always call the middle graph. It's pretty much 80 on the left and 80 on the right, just like this. So you see how this pops up, boom. And I think we gotta extend this out a little bit because it's too slow. Nice. Now I want to make this have motion blur. By the way, I want to add time remap, okay? And why I want to do that is I want to add an expression called loop out, and it's going to be cycle. So this animation will just keep going over and over again. So boom. You see now it's never going to end. This is how it pops up. Over here, I'm going to make it disappear. And once I make it disappear, I will make this how I feel text, or how should I feel text pop up. Make this parented, and then I'll select this, make the anchor point in the corner of the how I should feel text, do a scale around 10 frames or 20 frames maybe, make this come up from something just a little bit smaller, and then I want to do a position from, I want to have this position normally, so you guys see the scale, just make this come from down, a little bit down, alright, and it's gonna be a sharp immediate graph, so like this. But I think we wanna make the scale a bit smaller, like this. Cool. So this will come up and boom. Maybe we make the position a bit lesser. Cool, this looks good. So you guys can see we just saved a lot of time. Instead of creating this whole shit, we have this high quality version of it, which is perfect. Like I don't see any deficiencies with it. So this comes up and boom, this comes up. Over here we want to do the same typewriter thing that I talked about. So add typewriter and make it end around over here, boys. Or make it this much, just skip it. There's gonna be some sort of text, you know, how should I feel? So this one, and boom, now we have this little text UI animation, boys. If you guys did not know, this is Find My iPhone, and I think this might be a Find My iPhone UI. Let's check out, I'm not sure. So if I go to Find My iPhone and I go to images, you guys can see here we have the little map and we have items. Okay, and what we need is a Find My iPhone UI right now. Now potentially we could recreate this. So what I want to do right now is I want to just make a new composition, all right, over here, which is going to be a design composition. All right, I'll just copy and paste the solid, and now what we want to do, just create a little bar. So first things first, come up over here, make a little solid or shape layer, sorry. So I'm making a shape layer, all right, and I'll tell you guys why in a minute. So I'm making a shape layer like this, and it's gonna be the exact same layer as the background. And let me just remove the background now. You wanna come up over here and add a bit of roundness, just like this. Let's make the roundness lesser because it's too much. And I wanna bring this on exactly over at this part. The roundness is gonna be 50. So now you guys can see we have like a little corner showing up just over here. The first thing I want to do is add a little, you know, shape layer. Shape layer is going to be straight like this. I want to remove the fill, and the gray that I'm going to be using is going to be the exact same gray as this one. So copy, and you can see I'm making something. You want to go inside of stroke, and I just want to make this round cap. Boom, now I have this. I will make this in the center. So I have this little tab thingy, you know, above. And if we want to extend this out, we could. If you want to thin it out also, you could. Maybe I can make this 25 and then center it again. Maybe, you know, you want to make this thinner or something, you can. And you just have to just keep centering it. Okay, so initially I think this looks just fine. Now I want to bring up a text and let me just copy something from here, paste, and I want to make this black. I'll remove the copywriter effect or the typewriter effect by going to animator, and it's gonna say people. For example, it's just gonna say people. I will have this as heavy or not heavy. Heavy is too much. Semi-bold. Scale it up. Bring it on over here, just like you guys can see. I'll bring up the proportional grid so we can view everything. So you guys can see we have this, and I need this plus sign UI, so I could just do plus over here and that's all. And then make this shit like regular or even thin, and then just make it blue, the exact blue that we had before, which is this blue. Make it over here. This looks cool. You guys can see I can now convert this into shapes from text if I want to, which will allow us to, you know, adjust it in any way needed. But anyways, this looks pretty cool as of now. Now what I want to do is I want to add a little line, which is going to be simple. So bring up to Control R, bring up this ruler, make it like below over here, and go to the pen tool, remove the fill. The color is going to be the same gray, and the stroke is going to be very less, like 5 from here till here. So this is how it's going to be looking in terms of the stroke. And then we want to do all the project or profile pictures. Very simple. So we don't need to add any profile picture. I will just make an ellipse tool. I'll make it like a random color. Okay, doesn't have to be something that's complex for now. The most important thing is, you know, we just make it in a way where later if we want to add a profile picture, we could. So we have this, which is going to be as the profile picture. We might be able to increase the size a little bit because it feels small, right? So this much is going to be the size, and then I'll duplicate this, make it whatever text it should be. So RB, I'll make this Dubai, just, I don't know, Dubai downtown, it doesn't matter. And as you guys can see, we just need to make this a lot smaller. So, and also I need to make this like literally thinner, and then change this color into the same gray that we had before, E9, whatever, EB. You guys can see I just added the dot a little bit manually using the ellipse tool. So we have something pretty solid over here, to be honest. And now what I want to do is I just want to duplicate or pre-compose all of this. RB, and these 3 shape layers are very, very important. I'll just label them all the same color with the RB, make it aqua so we can view all of this. So we need to add one last thing, which is Baydir. I don't know what Baydir is. So let me open up translate again, and boom. Now these are all where we want them to be. And if I check this version, you can see it's pretty close to the right. So we just take it pretty close to the right as well. And now the rest is simple, boys. The rest is pretty simple. Just making the first design always some pain in the ass. So we have this made, right? And what I want to do now is select all of this and just name it person 1. And then you want to go into a tool called TrueComp Duplicator, which is a free tool. Untick all of this. I want to make 3 copies and duplicate the selected. I don't know what they duplicated, but we don't need to group it into a folder. And we want to suffix it to A. And we don't need 2 duplicates, actually we just need 2. And duplicate, and now we have person 1A. Over here you guys can see, and now we're gonna have another person, another 1A. Boom, perfecto. Select all of this and make sure it's aligned properly or spread properly, and there we go. It does look spread properly to me. And what I want to do now is pretty much just put this in the middle of all of them in this exact same way. You guys can see now, except I think these are gonna be a lot thinner. So let's make the stroke like 3, bro, or even 2, and that's how it's gonna be now. RB. And now I just want to go into every person and just change some details. So this RB guy, I can pretty much change it. What I want to do before changing it is set this ruler so we know where to measure this and bring it back. I can make this AR7. Boom. Bring it on over here. AR7. And I can make all of this caps if I want to. And I can change this to make it red, for example. Alright. And then number 3 over here. This. Now I'll make this like... How should I make this, boys? I'll just make this Sutox. Doesn't fucking matter. And then I'll change the profile to be whatever, green. And now I have it. There we go. Sutox RB and AR7. Now we have this screen, right? Now that we have all of this, I just want to go and name this scene. Boom. Cut and go into comp number 1 that we have and paste it. Now we want to do the little transition, which is very, very easy. You can see how he did the morphing, right? Just have a quick look, guys. You see this? He brought up a profile picture and he made it look like it's gonna swipe, which is very, very smart, to be honest. And it's not hard at all. Like all it requires is some brains. So it feels like he's morphing things out. And to do this, let's get started with it. All right. So first things first, we want to do is I want to extract everything from here to the outside. Okay. And what we want to do over here is at this point, I want all of it to be hidden, the inside details. Okay, at least for the first few seconds or something. I want everything except the profile picture to be hidden. Okay, and we're gonna deal with the rest later. And let's do this for all of them. Select this except for the profile picture and make it hidden. And why I'm doing this is just so we can optimize and do the animations of the stuff inside later. But right now I just want to control the profile picture. And then I want to take all of this and pretty much label it as a different color. So label it as orange and then just hide it. Okay. And now let's get started with the animation. Think about it this way. The final position is going to be here. So what I will do is go 30 frames ahead. Okay. And just say like put up a position. I'll place this on top just so we can tell where it is. So I'll make this named PFP1. Okay. And I'll make this PFP2. And then I'll make this PFP3. Now I want to do a little swipe animation from here till here, which is going to be very, very simple. So place the position. All right. Place the position for all of this. We have to make sure that we don't mess up our position of our shape layers and everything. Okay. And I want to go over here and just check the sizes. So it looks like he did scale it up a little bit and it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So the way it's going to go, boys, is take this profile picture 1, right? And bring it on over here in the corner of this and then scale this down a little bit and then fix the position again in this way. So this is how it's gonna go. And now what I'm gonna do, right, is just same text layer, which is this one, which is responsible for this one, right? I'll place a position, put it on over here. And before I do that, we want to make sure that it doesn't bounce off each other. So I want to go to keyframe and keyframe interpolation and just make this, we make this, I think, linear. Okay, yeah, cool. And then I want to position this. I'll tell you guys why we're doing this, by the way. I want to position this to be in this corner. So what's happening is that there's going to be a little swipe. Okay, so see how it's going to go. It's literally swiping through in this way, right? Very, very simple. Now I want to select both of this and do the middle graph, I call it. Okay, the middle graph, and see how it's gonna be now. You guys see it's like it's almost swiping through. That's exactly what I want to do. All right, but now one thing which is very, very crucial is the opacity. So the opacity is gonna go from 0 to 100, and then it's gonna have the middle graph as well. So you guys see it's gonna pop up in that way. And then this one, the how are you or whatever text, these two are going to pop out with opacity. So I want to paste the same opacity and then just time reverse it. So you guys see how this is going out. It's like it's morphing into each other. Okay, it's morphing into each other, and at the same time we're doing something else. So I'll show you what that is. What I want to do is I want to track matte this to our shape layer. I want to pop up our shape layer, and I want to show you guys something as to why we made these in the first place. So you want to go into this and I think it's gonna be path. I don't know what it's gonna be exactly, but I think it's gonna be path. Okay, so search up path, keyframe the path, go into the end, and make this, let's check where the ending is. Yeah, make this path just around over here. So what's happening is now we're altering the path as well. So it's literally looking like it's swiping. Alright, and you can see the text is starting to hide once this is swiping, and we make this the middle graph. So see how this is morphing? It's like, it's amazing. It's a crazy way to morph. It's a smart way. It's very, very smart for this. And for the opacity, I just want to delay it a little bit, right? Just so we have the little swipe look being visible. Boom. Amazing. So let's repeat the process again in case you guys really want to process everything that happened. Okay, so position. The position is going to start from where? We'll see. But the scale is going to be 80. Okay, the scale is going to be 80. And then the position is going to start from here. I'm going to paste the exact same scale. So you guys can see now. This is how it's going to be. And let me take the how I should feel text and do the exact same thing. So where is the text? It's over here, boys. Take the position, make a position over here. You want to go into keyframe interpolation, make it linear. Okay, and now I'm gonna do the exact same thing. It's gonna be like this. All right, towards the very ending, as you guys can see. And the graph is going to be the middle graph. It's not gonna end there, actually. It's gonna end here like this. So this is gonna swipe through the exact same way you guys are just seeing this, right? It's gonna swipe through. The movement will be the exact same. And then now I want to track matte this to our shape layer as promised. And then our shape layer, we're gonna do the exact same path thing that I spoke about. Go into path, go into path, go to the ending, make this path just like this. So see how it goes. Boom. And now we're gonna do the middle graph. And group number 2, by the way, what I want to do is I want to hide this. So we don't want to do the path for group number 2. We're just gonna go into fill, come here, and boom, just like hide this shit like this, as you guys just saw. Just gonna get hidden. So this little extension of the iMessage is gonna basically just be hidden. We have just the opacity trick left, which I can just copy paste. So we go into the how are you receiving message outline, go into the opacity over here, copy it, go into the sending message outline, paste the opacity so you can see how it's hitting. And I want to go into my profile picture, which is PFP2, and paste it, and then just flip it. Now the only thing we need to do, right, is we just want to delay this whole thing. So the how should I feel and all of this stuff. So I just want to move this like, let's say 10 frames ahead or 5 frames ahead. So 1 2 3 4 5, boom, move it. And then everything that I did from the how should I feel part, so it's basically the sending message, the fucking scale, everything, just take it and delay it. Take the opacity, delay it by this much. The scale, we didn't do anything. The position also, we gotta delay it. Okay, I should have initially done this from before, but anyways, now you can see it will be more synced, right? So they're not gonna happen like exactly at the same time. So boom, this pops up. Now what I want to do is go on the inside, for example PFP number 1, and just show everything. Okay, show everything, have these as different colors so we can see. Okay, make this all quarter. Now from over here everything will start popping up. So RB, whatever it is, like all of this stuff, everything, I just want to go into P position. All right, go like 20 frames ahead, place another keyframe. For the RB, it's not gonna be too much, it's gonna be less. For the Dubai downtown, it's gonna be a bit more. For the with you, it's gonna be a bit more. For this one, it's gonna be a bit more as well. And then you wanna go into all of this, just do opacity from 0 to 100. Boom. I wanna actually make this shorter. And then for the graph, it's gonna be this graph. Come up over here, boom. Make all of this motion blur. So now see what happens. Everything is gonna pop up. So RB is gonna pop up first, and then Dubai downtown, and then the dot, and then the with you. So everything is sequenced, you guys will see. Now let's check it from outside, see how it's gonna be. Everything is just sequenced, but it's too fast, right? It's too fast. That means we have to just make everything a bit slower by extending it out and just placing these keyframes more and more like this. So have a look now. Perfect. Lovely. Now I want to do all of this in the composition for all of them. So for this one and for everything else. So instead of just having to redo this over and over again, just copy. Alright. Delete everything on here and paste it. And then the only thing I gotta change is the name. So I will have to change the names again. And boom, just fix the position. Now I have the exact same animation. So you'll see now, it's the exact same animation. We don't have to redo anything, right? Just do the same thing for everything over here as well. Just paste it. And the name would be Sutox, right? As we remember. And because I already have the scales and everything, just change the position, make it final over here. And boom. Now we have even this one. Except for the last one, which is Sutox and whatever. The animation for this, we're gonna do it from the inside because there is nothing much on the outside. So, or yeah, actually it's gonna have to be from the outside. So position just from the left and the exact same opacity, copy the opacity and paste it. And it's gonna be the middle graph. 80 here and 80 here. And then we just wanna, you know, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And boom, now everything is gonna be sequenced. Let's have a quick look. See how it's gonna be. Amazing. Maybe we gotta have this a bit more delayed. And then we can make all of this maybe motion blur. That's something that could improve it. Now you guys see the morphing is done, right? What we want to do is we just want to hide the iMessage. So that's also going to be very, very simple. So iMessage, boom, take the opacity, paste this shit, and then just flip it. All right. Now do position. Position is going to be to the left in the middle graph for this as well. I hope I'm not yapping too much, boys. But you know, this is initially the struggle when you do UI stuff. Is this stuff is more complex and takes more time, but in general it's simple, you know. Sometimes hard stuff can be simple. So boom, you guys can see how it's just going away now. Yeah, by the way, we want to make everything like motion blur. That's one thing about Sutox-Originals style, is everything is just fucking has motion blur on it. So you guys see how this goes away. Now we want to show all of this stuff. And we want to figure out how we can reveal all of this. It's pretty much going to be the exact same way he did it. It's pretty simple, you know. So for the people, we got to do something like this. All right. And I'm just going to pop it up randomly. Exact same way this guy, he just like pops up whatever randomly. So first things first, we just want to pop up the shape layer that we have created. Let's make it like 20 frames. Go in the beginning. Make it 0. And the graph that I'm going to use is going to be this one. Alright, so you can see the shape layer is just gonna pop up, and we want to make the shape layer the same color as the background. That's one thing. And what I want to do is I want to flip the background the exact same way. So it's gonna go like this. And the reason why we're doing this, I'm gonna show you guys in a second. But we're doing this because initially we will add something right later on. So it's just for the sake of that. I guess you can see some things are just randomly popping up, right? So let's start animating them one by one. First things first, the shape layer, the plus shape layer. I want to place a marker over here just to make like a mark that, oh yeah, everything will finish at this point. So let me just put all of this in focus mode so we can view it. All right, just so shit is not random. First things first, we have this. So I'll make a little trim path, go to shape and flip it. You guys can see what flipping does is it will make it come from the other side. And just want to do a little position. Press U and then press P on the keyboard. And then just do this, okay? And then do this graph. And boom, this is how it's gonna come. Now, for the shape layer, for the plus sign shape layer, we're gonna do it very simple. Position, rotation. Bring this shit in, position it from here, make the rotation some shit like this. And in like this, boom, very simple. We don't have to overcomplicate nothing. All right, and then these lines over here, I'm gonna mark them as a different color. So let's make them cyan, and what I'm gonna do is the exact same thing. Just trim path these shit, and we want to flip the positions because it's coming in from the left side. We want it to come from the right side, so it's initially just doing this. Right, it's just simple. Now select all of this, press U, do F9. Now we can just sync all of this stuff randomly. So 10 frames or 5 frames, and then sync this. 5 frames and then this. 5 frames and then this, and then this, and then this. So everything is gonna be like coming up layer by layer. And now I'll just unfocus and see what's gonna happen. Now everything is like, it's morphing in correctly. Maybe the graphs that I used aren't too accurate. So maybe the graphs that we want to use might be the middle graph instead of the front graph. So let's just switch out everything over here to be the middle graph. Or now just keep it front graph because it's messing it up. So you guys can see how everything is just connected now. Nice, looks cool. This is an amazing morph, honestly. And for him to come up with that really makes him very, very smart. You know, he spent a lot of time on this shit, maybe 12, 14, I don't know how many hours. We want to do the top part, which is just the last part of it with this thing over here. So for this, what we need is a map. All right, it's gonna be pretty simple, like it shouldn't be very hard. So I just want to go over here into Figma and search up for Google Maps or Apple Maps Figma UI. All right, now he did set his own location, which I'm pretty sure he just took a screenshot. Alright, he just took a screenshot and then he added the shape layer. We have this, for example, Stanford University or whatever. And that's initially all we need. And there is also another Figma file. In this Figma file, it's even better because we even have like this little circle thing that we need, right? But initially you guys can see this is exactly what he did, right? Is he took this stuff, he took this stuff, and he pretty much just fucking changed it to like people. So he's very smart for coming up with that idea, to be honest. And the way he made it look very, very nice. But initially, let's do something now. Is I think I'll have to open up my MacBook and take a screenshot. So fuck it. Here we are, I'm on my MacBook. This is what it is, right? In Figma, when you want to come up with stuff, you need a MacBook, you need like an iPhone, whatever, because sometimes you don't find the shit that you want. So you guys can see here we have the maps, the Apple maps. Now I want to see how I can make this in not only dark mode but only white mode. So here I am. I finally changed it to white mode, and let's just take a photo of anywhere in Dubai. Doesn't matter. So here we got it, boys. There we go. Finally I got this. Now what I want to do is I just want to place this in the background. Alright, the good thing about this is I don't know what the good thing about this is, to be honest. By the way, for this shape layer, we'll need to add a drop shadow. So go into drop shadow and just add a little drop shadow. For some reason we cannot see the drop shadow. It's a bit disappointing. So I'll just go into here. Let's go into layer styles and then just do drop shadow. Let's see if this works. It's doing nothing. Not sure why. And now this is cool. You can see, guys, there is a drop shadow over here. It just needs a change of angle. Just make it a bit less. Alright. Can increase the spread a little bit more. Looking good. Perfect. Perfecto. Love it. So now is the last part of it all, boys. The last part of it all. So as you guys can see, we have the Apple Maps over here. And initially the area that I'm gonna go and do the thing will be somewhere around this area. So what I want to do is zoom it in a little bit. Okay. Rotate this. So we have it in this vertical view. And just place it anywhere, bro. Place it any fucking way. So here, this road looks good to me. As you guys can see, the Kite Beach Road. I'll just zoom it in a little bit. Looks good. Yeah, this looks good. Decent. Kite Beach Dubai. And place this shit below. There we go. And now I'll place this shit above. To see what's gonna happen. I'll show you guys what's gonna happen. You can see how the background is just popping up. That's initially what we want to do, right? Is I want opacity to be 0 here. Okay, and then go here and make it more. So that's how it's gonna come up. At this point, what we want to do is very, very simple. Just pre-compose all of this. Name it everything. I'll just name it everything. Then the Apple Maps goes behind, as you guys can see, right? Now, I'll make a null layer. And the reason for making this null layer is so we can have some type of a control. So just connect the null layer and do position. Go to the end and do another position. And now see what's happening is we can just switch this. We can go above. And this is exactly what he did. He went above. Now the good thing about his scene is there is a lot of greenery and whatever, but my scene looks awful. But it doesn't matter that much, boys, to be honest, to be completely honest. And then we did this, and now what I want to do is I want to go into this Figma, okay, and just get this shit. Select, and you know, you guys already know the trick, right? I already have this in my libraries from a long time ago, so I will be using from my libraries instead of having to redo the thing. Now I did show it a couple of times, so as of now I don't need to show it again. So close panel and let me open it again because it was bugging. So where is the libraries? It is over here. Go back, let's see where we can find our thing. Our thing is not here. Our thing ain't here either. Our thing ain't here either. Ain't here either. Ain't here either. It is over here. Boom. Import this and import this. Now rasterize both of these layers. So once we rasterize them, I can make this as big as I want to without it changing anything. So you guys can see I can just make this as big as I want to. And then I will do this, place it on behind this shit. So when I move this, I can move it however I want to. Now, what I want to do, right, is I want to link this to the null layer. So it's like almost coming up like this. This null layer, by the way, it's going to have a middle graph. So this is going to be 80 and this is going to be 80. I'll take this a bit behind and boom. See how this is going to be? Everything is now connected. Lovely, guys. This looks fucking amazing. So we have this, and then this part, I will just like make it a bit of movement. Let me change this to color something that is a bit more popping. And now what I want to do is pretty much rotate this. You guys can see if I place this over here in the middle, I can rotate this however I want to. Boom, like this. Now what I will do is I'll create a little wiggle, okay, wiggle, and make it like 2 frequencies and maybe 20 amplitude. You can see there will be a very little wiggle, and this position I'll just move it like something around over here, so it looks like it's moving on the road, you know, type shit. And then just do a little graph. So take a look at this now. Lovely. However, we want it to show a bit more. What I can do is I can place this whole position behind because it's too much in front. Looks good. So now let's check out the whole thing from the beginning to the end. So how are you? How should I find the boom? Lovely, guys. I fucking love this. Now one thing is that I don't think he moved his thing, or even if he did, it's very, very less in terms of the position. So I don't think we need to be honest. Just extend it out a little bit. And you can see the movement is going to be very, very less. And for this wiggle, I think I did too much. The 2 frequency is too much. So just make this like fucking what? Just make it 1 or even 0.5 would be fine. And then later in the next scene, you know, once we get to part number 2, all I'll have to do is literally just scale this up and then change it to a phone. And yeah, man, he's very, very smart. But as you guys saw, it's really not that hard. Like this whole process is very, very easy. It's all about how you can become like two levels smarter. That's just is how it is, you know. It's how you can like integrate all of this stuff into one another. But yeah, I mean, this took some time. The raw recording right now is 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think after I cut this down and whatsoever, it's gonna go down to an hour. But yeah, the next part is going to be this part over here, where I will take this, turn it into a telephone, and switch this into a telephone with the stuff above. And then this part we don't really need to do because now you guys understood all the fundamentals. You guys get me? So yeah, that was a long video. And if you guys made it to this point, then just know that you're a grinder, and I really, really appreciate you putting this effort for reforming the editing space. So with that, I hope you guys enjoy. Again, there's gonna be the first warning price increase to $47 on February 14th. If you join before it, you get grandfathered in for a cheaper price that you'll never have to pay more than. And then the second warning on February 30, where it goes up to $57. So join in before it's too late for $37. And yeah, with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.